I grew up in a haunted house, and I talk about things that I've seen throughout my life and that my family and friends have also seen. And then I also tell stories about followers, but this one is a personal story, and it's about my imaginary friend that ended up not being imaginary. This is the photo that my mom sent me. This is the one that was taken in the 80s. It's probably like 1981, but you can already see her in the photo. She's right here. You can see her, but I'm going to show you a little bit better because I also took this photo. I lightened it up. You can see her right here. And this is her shoulder. This is the little fringe on her dress. This is her braid that runs through there. See her? Yikes. I blocked myself out, so everything that's in the white area is her. You can see her jawline, her little ear, her hair, her dress, the braid laying across the front of her, and the fringe on her dress. Now I'm doing it this way so that if I hold it farther back, you guys can see it, because I think you want to hold it too close sometimes. Up was located on the Trail of Tears, and one day we were watching Peter Pan, like from the 50s or something, and Mom said that when Tiger Lily came on, I said, oh look, there's Susan. And she said it never really added up because Susan doesn't sound like a Native American name, and it may not be. And that's another thing that I'm hoping, if you see this video, why would I have said that her name was Susan? But I said that she had, I would go like this and say that she had these on her dress, which you can see in the photo, the fringe that's on her dress. She had long braids, and I would want my hair braided like hers. Let me show you. This is another photo of me and Susan. Apparently Susan was sitting beside me, but you can't see her in this photo. I'm 5 here. This is my 5th birthday, so I was in kindergarten, even though I don't look it, but I was small. But she's supposed to be in this photo too, but you can't see her. Okay, here's a zoomed in. This is my ear right here. But this right here starts the bottom of her jaw, okay, and it goes up through here. And move back out. See it? This is her braid right here. This is where the fringe is on her dress that I would tell my mom about. This is her shoulder. You can't not see her. Even strangers found her at Walmart. So, what do you guys think? I'm so excited for this find, and I'm actually going to pick up Carter now, and then we're going to go over to my mom's house and look through old photos, because if that picture's there, there's probably a lot more, and maybe even some of Miss Pike. So I'm going to dig through family photos tonight and see how many more ghosts I can find. This is the photo she's in. I have another photo that she's in that I removed her out of. This is her. That's what you can see of her. Let me find something to point. This is the side of her face. This is her ear, her hair. It's braided. You can see the braid down. This is the fringe on the dress, and this is her dress. She's standing behind me. She's right there. She's behind me. Looked and squinted, but not, so I cut her out for you. There she is. There's her ear. She's standing behind me. There is her braid. The fringe on her dress, her shoulder, her jaw, her ear, her hair. Her face, where her eyeball would be, is behind my ear. She's behind me. I grew up in a haunted house, and I like to tell stories about everything that happened to me and my family while living in that house, and this story is about my mom. This is one of my mom's curio cabinets. It has all of her favorite things in it. She is a huge lover and fan of Biltmore. One day my mom is in the living room, and she hears this large bang come from down the hallway. Now, when my mom was at the other house, this curio cabinet was kept in what was my old room, which used to be Mr. Pike's room. She ran into the room and was devastated to find out that this big plate here was on the floor in front of the curio cabinet, broke completely in half. And then, hang on, this cup was also in the floor with a chip out of it. They were arranged just as they are now. The cabinet was shut, but these things were broken, and they were about 2 feet in front of the cabinet.
So my mom's immediately like, what the hell? How did this happen? How did this stuff even get out here? Like, who could have broken these things? Normally, she would have blamed my dad like right away, but he wasn't home when it happened, so she knew it couldn't have been him. I don't know if you've ever been to Biltmore, but this stuff is expensive, and it's like her favorite stuff ever, so that's why she keeps it in here. So for this to be broken, she was devastated. She was so upset. So she's sitting on the floor, like visibly upset over it when my dad comes home. What's wrong with you? My favorite stuff is broken. Why are you crying? It's just a plate. Now, you've already figured out by now that Miss Pike does not like it when my dad's an ass, and she made it up to my mom. Let me show you how. What the hell? My favorite cup just broke!
If you're looking at this and you thought haunted, it's because it is. This is Adsmore. I worked here for almost 10 years and I have so many ghost stories about this place, and here's one of them. This story takes place in this room that looks like this. It is gorgeous, one of my favorite rooms in the house. And I'm showing you a Christmas photo because this story takes place right at Christmas time. Everything in the house is original to the family that owned the home, and 1901 was their first Christmas in the house. To celebrate that, every year they would host a Christmas party for all the littles in the town to come and listen to Christmas stories and have Christmas cookies and see Santa and all the fun things. This particular year, I was sitting in this chair right here by the Christmas tree, and it was nighttime around 7:30, 8 o'clock at night, and across from me, right in front of me, right here, is a grand piano. My friend and coworker Andrew was sitting at the piano. I was sitting there waiting to read to the kids the night before Christmas, and Andrew is supposed to play Christmas music while they tour the house. It was all lit by candlelight, gorgeous. It was one of my favorite tours. So while we're waiting for the next group of kids, Andrew and I are just talking, not really paying attention to anything, when all hell breaks loose. There, does this make it feel like you're actually there? Me relaxing in this chair waiting to read to the kids?
Nobody's up there.
Then we start hearing all these conversations between a female and a male, and the male comes in from the other room, and it's just a bunch of stomping, and then we hear a chair get pulled out where somebody sits down at the desk in the room upstairs.
There's gotta be somebody up there. We're the only ones in the house. You go check. I can't run in this dress.
This is what I was wearing.
No, you go check. Get up there right now.
So Andrew goes upstairs. He walks around all 4 rooms that's up there. No one's there. No one's left. Here's what the staircase looks like. And this is how dark the house was. Only one way up and one way down. I was waiting for him right here. And then that door back there is how you get in and out of the house. That's only one of many more stories, and they only get more intense. It's funny how the most random things can trigger a memory, especially when it's about someone that you don't get to see or is no longer with you. And this is the time that my late great aunt used to tell me about the little ghost in her hallway. If you're new here, I grew up in a haunted house. I talk about ghosts all the time, and this story is one of my favorites. It's not even that big of a thing, but maybe it was just the one that was telling it. She said that one night she got up to get some water. She said it was about 2 or 3 in the morning, and they lived out in the middle of the country, just kind of secluded from everybody and everyone, and she could feel somebody staring at her. So she thought it was one of her kids because she had several, and turned around and no one was there. So she got a weird feeling about it, but just went about getting her drink and then rinsed her cup out. And then she started to head back to bed, and then that's when she saw her. She said there was a little girl with pigtails, barefooted, standing at the end of the hallway and just staring at her. She said, I didn't even know how to act. I just kind of stood there and stared back at her. I was always on the edge of my seat, even though I knew what was going to happen and knew how it ended. She said that little girl took 2 or 3 steps towards me. I took a few steps towards her. Then she just turned into a mist and faded away. She said, and that was a shame too, because she was just the cutest little thing. My aunt was so sweet and had the biggest heart and loved everybody and was such a great storyteller. And I know there's really not a lot to that story, but maybe it was just the person that was telling it. But around the holidays, you can't help but think about those that aren't here anymore. And even though it's just a little story, it's big to me.
Can you make the REM pod thing light up? Thank you. If you get real close to it, you know how it works. Thank you. You know I think you're hilarious. Can you light that up again for me? Please? Thank you. You guys, if you don't believe in Miss Pike, how do you not? You're awesome. Thank you. You can back up.
Am I dead?
Yes, baby. Unfortunately. Have been for a long time.
When you've worked in a historic home that was built in 1857, your chances of seeing a ghost, or at least hearing one, are pretty high. I worked at Adsmore for 10 years, and I have a bunch of ghost stories, and this is another one of them. If you follow me, you have probably seen the video where I talk about seeing the ghost at my mom and dad's house play the piano, and this is a story about the time I heard a little girl play the piano. Not a normal piano either, like one of those little creepy kid pianos. It was my day to open the house, which meant that I had to get there early before everyone else and go in and turn all the lights on, which there were a million of them, it seemed like, and get the house ready for the first tour. To get in the house, we had to go in through the kitchen, which was now offices because the kitchen wasn't original to the home. It was built like in the 30s. So you would go into the dining room and start there and then kind of make your way around. Well, the dining room was right beside the, what you would call the living room, where the Christmas tree was at. We had all of Catherine's little toys there that they still had from her very first Christmas in 1901. As I'm turning on the dining room light, I hear like ding, ting, ting. Ting, 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 like the piano is playing. Immediately I stop and I'm like, there's no way I'm hearing that right now. And it sounded just like any little toy piano, kid piano would sound, like the ting, 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 ting. But she was playing like a song. I turn to look towards the parlor and I can see the little piano under the tree, and I can see the keys moving, like ding, 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 ding. So now I not only hear it, but I can see it. So I call out, Catherine, is that you? So immediately I'm like, is this her? Like, would she be playing with this toy, or is this like some kind of residual or some ghost we don't even know about? So it gets louder. Ding, ting, 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 ting. So I start walking towards the Christmas tree, playing the entire time. I'm watching it play the whole time. And I had left my phone with my keys in the kitchen, so I couldn't record it. So as soon as I get to the doorway, I'm like 2 feet from the piano, the little toy piano. It stops, and then I hear something run, like a little girl. It sounded like a kid run and giggle and run out the other door. I stop in my tracks. I look at it. I go over to it, and I play it a little bit to make sure it was exactly what I was hearing. Even though I could see it moving, I needed to like do it myself. Then one of the doors in the home slams shut. If you've ever been in a historic home, when a door shuts, it shakes the entire house. And that was it for me. I was out of there. Since I've started talking about ghosts a lot on here, a lot of people have asked me why ghosts are always from like so long ago and there aren't really any recent ghosts. But there are. The ghost that haunted my childhood home, she passed away in like 1989, and she waited about 2 months before she showed up in full force, acting out and doing all kinds of stuff at my house. But then when her husband passed away, it was about 1.5 years maybe before he showed up. I think a lot of ghosts don't realize that they've passed away, and that's why they're stuck here, and that's sad. But I think a lot of them come back just to kind of mess with us. That is what I will be doing. They always say that ghosts come back and do their favorite things. You'll see them by the window in a rocking chair, or maybe you'll smell smoke from their pipes. No. I'm going to be dancing, and like the fun dancing, like club dancing. My knees and hips won't hurt anymore, so I'm going to be dropping it low and throwing that ass in a circle, and I'm going to make sure that everybody sees it on those stick figure things so that everybody will know that that's me that's there. Then maybe somebody will write a book about haunted houses, and I'll get put in there, and they'll say something like, did you know that this house is haunted by that ghost that likes to twerk? They call her Twerkin' Tiffany. That is the best ghost name. Nobody steal my idea. I worked at a historic home for 10 years, and during that time I saw a lot of ghosts, and here's another story about it. Also, if you're new here, I grew up in a haunted house, and I've been able to see ghosts since I was little, and I talk about it a lot, so welcome. Back to my story.
A lot of the stuff happened when I was in the home by myself, and every time I had to open, I would have to get there before everybody else and go in the house and turn on all the lights, and I was talking to my mom this particular day. The way I would always go is through the dining room, grandmother's room, the library, then I would go upstairs, do all the upstairs, come back down, and get the parlor on the way out. That was just the route I always took. So I had just done the bottom 3 rooms and was headed up the stairs when the library door slammed so hard I thought the house had imploded. My mom is on the phone with me and she says, "Oh my gosh, what was that?" "Mom, it was one of the doors. It was the library door. It slammed so hard." "I know, it was awful. I thought you like fell down the stairs or something." Just then, I feel like a whoosh through my hair and I hear, "Move." I freeze where I'm at on the stairs. I should have moved, but I didn't. I did the opposite of what they told me to do. My mom hangs up. She hung up on me. So now I'm all by myself. At first, I thought maybe the phone just disconnected. No, Mom told me when I called her back, she hung up. She heard them tell me to move, scared her, she hung up. So while I'm standing there, after I just heard this move in my ear, I hear, "Now." Okay. So I did more than that. I turned around and got the hell out of there. I waited until Andrew got there and made him go back with me to turn on all the lights. So don't do like me. If a ghost tells you to move, move. And don't do like my mom. If you hear a ghost when you're on the phone with somebody, don't hang up. I still can't believe she did that, but I don't really blame her. I worked in a historic home where I saw a lot of ghosts, and I tell stories about that, and here's another one. If you're new here, I grew up in a haunted house. I see ghosts all the time, and I talk about it a lot, and this is the story from where I worked at a haunted historic home. I had been there for a few years at this point, but this is the first time that I'd ever seen a full body apparition, and it just so happened to be while I was giving a tour, and there was about 9 other people there with me, all of which saw him. So I brought them all in. They all were really eager to hear all about the home. It's a fantastic house, but they didn't know they were going to get more than they paid for. So the tour starts off great. Everyone's very nice and listening and wanting to hear all about the fun things about it. And I'm talking about this, talking about that. And then we go to the very front of the house, and that's where the staircase is at. So while you're standing there, you can see up to the top landing upstairs. And we're all talking about the history of the home and about to go into the parlor when we see a man walk from one side of the upstairs to the other, and he made eye contact with all of us, and it went a little something like this. So one of the men on the tour turns to me and said, "I thought this was the first tour of the day. I thought you guys didn't open until 11. Yeah, this is the first tour of the day. We're the first ones in the house. Then who was that we just saw walk across up there? I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? You guys just let people in the house? Sir, I'm pretty sure that was Robert, and Robert passed away back in the 20s. So you're saying we just saw a ghost? I think so. Well, now what? Our tour continues in the parlor. Then I just held my breath that we didn't see him again for the rest of the hour we were in there. Then they tipped me really well on the way out, which was awesome, but they said that they got to see a ghost, and that was worth way more than the $10 they paid to get in there, so thanks, Robert.
So either the little Victorian girl that likes to haunt the outside of my house has found her way in, or Moaning Myrtle's here. One or the other. We haven't figured it out yet. Let me tell you what happened. So Jason's home alone, taking a shower. It's just him and our dog Louie. And he said that while he was in the shower, he heard a girl giggle outside the door, which is already funny enough in its own. So he knew he hadn't heard the door like unlock or anything like that, and he knew no one was here. So he thought maybe I just heard something, right? Maybe I'm just going crazy. Let me add, he's scared of ghosts. So then he gets out of the shower, he's drying off, and he hears like a kid run down the hallway. Why does all of this happen when I'm not here? So he dries off, goes out into the hallway. No one's here. No one's in the house. It's just him and the dog. So he goes to check on Louie, and Louie's in his little like play area, playpen thing. And he has wedged himself between the playpen and his little puppy bed. He was hiding. That makes me nervous, because if Louie was hiding, because he doesn't hide from Miss Pike. If you don't know about Miss Pike, go watch some of my other videos. He likes her. So did this little girl make her way in the house? Is Jason crazy? I don't know.